This is Xav D'Amatos with Mr. Ludwig Hitzman.
Good day, sir.
And we're here to talk about The Order 1886, which is the first new IP from developer Ready at Dawn Studios.
So I do not need to have played The Orders 1 through 1885.
No, those are actually out of print. You can't find them anymore.
So this is a third-person shooter in the vein of something like Gears of War, but we know the team at Ready at Dawn as the developers of something else of War.
Yeah, Ready at Dawn is known for creating a pair of fantastic God of War titles for the PSP.
So what can we say about The Order based on a very limited demo that we played?
So The Order 1886 takes place in an alternate history in Victorian London and follows King Arthur's Knights of the Round, with you taking control of Sir Galahad.
So what we know of the plot so far is that Sir Galahad and his fellow knights are fighting against a rebellion in London, and you do that by taking cover and popping out of the cover and then shooting the enemies.
And you shoot the enemies with some pretty interesting weaponry.
That's right. I actually really enjoyed using this gun that we're showing in this video right now, which is a two-step gun, and that's usually pretty fun because it allows you a very small element of planning in the midst of a shootout.
So the way that it works is different from traditional weapons in video games. You don't just fire ammunition, you fire out a thermite cloud and use a flare to light that thermite and rain down fire onto the enemies below. But you had a different strategy when you played it.
Right, I actually prefer to shoot the flare first and then use that as a target, essentially, and then paint the air around it with the thermite. My enemies were actually really impressed by it because their faces literally melted off.
So what is it that you think sets The Order 1886 apart from other shooters that are coming out?
Well, it's right there in the title, isn't it? It's 1886. I really feel drawn into this environment. I think the level of detail applied to it is quite remarkable, and I think it'll be worth the trip just walking through these Victorian streets.
I noticed also that the game is really cinematic, and it has a very nice seamless jump from a cutscene to the gameplay.
Right, it really helps maintaining the flow of battle and storytelling, and hopefully the story will be good enough to justify the amount of time that they're spending on it. I also like that the entire game is framed in a filmic aspect ratio. It's ultra-wide, which also happens to give you a wider field of view.
You mentioned that Ready at Dawn has taken their time with this game. We've seen it a few times now, but it's only been playable once, and both of the demos we've seen have been really short.
That's right, it's been hard to get a sense of how large the game is, or what kind of scope it is, or even how it's structured in terms from going from mission to mission. But what we've seen so far has been very visually polished and very extravagant in terms of production, and I hope that the extra time that they're giving themselves, the game is now coming out in early 2015, I'm hoping that'll result in a very high-quality third-person shooter.
You mentioned that Ready at Dawn is taking their time with this game. We've seen it a couple of times now, but only in small chunks. This was the first time we've ever had to play it. Had to play it? We were forced to play it. They told us, you cannot leave this room without playing this game. All right.